Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 48 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we came over here because of the fact that Edgeworth had just came out of deliberation with the prosecutors. And it turns out he's safe from being penalized. However, he still had used falsified evidence to put Joe Dark away. And quite frankly, he's despondent because of the fact that from the time of Manfred von Karma all the way until now, he has been practically used as a scapegoat for murder, basically. And it does a lot to a guy, especially when he realizes he's been groomed by von Karma to actually take the fall for something von Karma actually did. And now this whole situation. Well, this is the last day of the trial. And as such, this is the last day to try to put SL9 out of commission and solve this case completely. However, there is something strange. Edgeworth ended up getting an evidence list that was cut in half, which truly is strange. Now, if you think back in the last part, Gant put something on his desk before he left, and you weren't able to examine or do anything about it. However, there is something strange that needs to be pointed out too. Let's go on ahead and talk about the day of the trial. And you happen to be, Edgeworth, happened to be in the office at the time because the ceremony was held here. And unfortunately for Edgeworth, he didn't know that that trophy would be, well, a bad luck charm. However, Edgeworth did take back a piece of evidence that Gant told him to hold on to, which is obviously strange, because why was Edgeworth told to hold that thing? Ooh, I think this isn't the first time Gant actually told people to hold evidence. So on that note, let's present that group photo that happened to be given to us in the last part. The group photo that Gant foolishly gave us because it showed two pieces of information there. One, the trophy, and two, the vase. First off, look at the trophy. Something really was missing from it. The spear that happened to be there. The broken spear. And not just that, the vase that was behind them was actually broken into pieces in the last episode, well, several episodes ago, and Phoenix put all but one piece together. So, that whole entire statue was supposed to be contradiction. So, let's talk about the King of Prosecutors trophy. As the trophy was supposed to symbolize contradiction, contradiction means the halberd and the shield. As in, the halberd that could cut any shield and the shield that could protect from any blade, which practically is a contradiction. Now, the only reason why it was given to him, because of one thing. it actually is a reference to, despite how good he thinks he is, he has a dark and shady past following him, and it'll follow him for the rest of his life. That's why that trophy was given to him. And ironically, the reason why that trophy was given to Neil Marshall is because of the fact that, despite the fact of his talent, he's still inexperienced. Well, he was still inexperienced, and he's bound to make a mistake. That's the contradiction. So yeah, in other words, the King of the Prosecutor's Trophy basically just says that you are not who you think you are. That's basically what that trophy means. I'm sorry for the pauses, but that's exactly what it is. So now, you're also had... Well, Edward also has been given the shield. Also a reference to the fact that the prosecutor's office has been shielding him from many, many penalties, including this little stick with red white. So on that note, let's examine the floor right behind Edgeworth, because of the fact that he did drop something, and that thing is important. So, Edgeworth is pretty much trying to be distracted, and Emma's trying to get to Edgeworth's, Edgeworth's trying to, well, she's trying to get to the paper. However, Edgeworth, he's no fool. And he was about to write his letter of resignation. Yeah, we basically need that. So, with that said, we're going to be taking the letter of resignation. Because that is what we're going to need to convince Gumshoe to let us into Gant's office. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting the hiccups. Oh god, I am getting the hiccups. Whatever the case, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that this letter exists means one thing. Edgeworth is sick of this shit. So, we're going to go on ahead and leave. Now, by the way, I forgot where it was, but there was some blood there. Edgeworth ended up getting a paper cut because of the fact that he picked up something, and there was blood on the floor. So on that note, on the way out, you'll run into Angel Star. And she'll give you a quarter-pound roast because she's out of lunches. And okay, I think she pretty much tried. I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but comparing this to sucking on a cow's nipple is kind of a weird analogy, to say the least. But it turns out, well, Angel was right all along. It's just that she missed one minor detail. The stab wound in Lana's hand, which she admits that she did it to make it look like she was murdering someone, so the cameras can catch it. So on that note, let's go on ahead and talk about the dark investigation, which in turn turned Angel's calm demeanor into, well, an angry one, because obviously she's been demoted, and originally she did not have a rice bun on her hat. She just has a regular beret, but she was fired and she ended up working as a lunch lady as an end result to try to sneak into the police station just to try to get SL9 completed once and for all. And to be fair, every day actually, that Jake and Angel see this police station, it kind of pisses them off because that used to be them. And more importantly, every day they always get angry at Lana and Chief Gant, and for good reason. They know something, they covered it up, and they went about it they went about it in a dirty way, basically. And to be fair, Gant truly was an actual good detective. The problem is, the evidence was actually manipulated to try to hide the fact that Neil Marshall was killed, and probably not by Joe Dark. And bear in mind, the only people that was actually safe from this was actually Lana and Gant and Goodman. And Goodman wasn't demoted, otherwise people would have actually gotten suspicious. But Jake was demoted and Angel was fired on the spot. So as much as everybody thinks that Lana's an innocent person, and she sort of is, but she still willingly went along with Gant. So, if she is involved in this corruption, she's definitely going to jail for a good 5 or 10 years. Well, not if, she really is involved. So we have legendary duo and being used. And the fact that Damon Gant and Lana Skye were legendary, you'll just keep seeing that picture over and over again. That they would solve a lot of cases, and Gant would practically find evidence where evidence could not really be found. And even worse, he made that credible evidence stick to many cases. In other words, he's been forging evidence ever since he was a detective, but since he became deputy chief of police, not many people question him. So this really wasn't his first rodeo. And anyway, the only reason why Angel hated Lana so much is because of the fact that Gant's the reason for her change in demeanor. And she did not want to admit it. So therefore, Lana is just... No, not Lana. Angel is just aggravated at every time she sees Lana. She just cannot stand the sight of her. And that's where being used is. Because Lana was transferred to the prosecutor's office. That means Gant pretty much had the prosecutor's office and the police under his control, meaning cases were getting thrown out left and right or covered up and solved. Which means that's a shitload of cases. Ooh, goddamn, that is a shitload of cases. I probably did 1,000 cases and had the prosecutors throw them out with bogus evidence or close them with bogus evidence. Ouch. But whatever the case, Lana has been used as a scapegoat, and Lana is practically used to keep the prosecutors under Gant's control. So yeah, what would be a police mess-up had turned into a police-wide conspiracy. And let's be honest, cases like this does not get bigger than this. Although, I still hate this case because of the fact that you have to dig through such bullshittery just to actually reveal the truth. Like multiple people lying, multiple people trying to disguise themselves. You have to dig through a lot of stuff just to come to this point. And when you finally see that Capcom's definitely not subtle, then you realize it's definitely a long list of corruption, and Joe Dark was the cherry on the cake. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're now here with Gumshoe, who has been running from coffee to files, all the while we've been dealing with Edgeworth and Angel Star. In other words, he's practically been doing everything except for investigating. It's not that he can, because of his association with Edgeworth. Everyone's giving him menial tasks. So in other words, in order to make this guy actually help us with Gant and to be useful, we're gonna have to present Edgeworth's resignation papers. And there's a reason for that. Gumshoe's faith in Edgeworth all stemmed from Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney 1, which we never got in the States. And if Capcom wants people to like them, they would actually make an Ace Attorney collection and bring it to the HD consoles. But due to the fact of Edgeworth having a letter of resignation, Gumshoe feels despondent, like he's betrayed Edgeworth. So now, maybe, just maybe, that will get us into Gant's office, because of the fact that the only way we can do so is we have a detective with an active ID, and Gumshoe has one. Even though Gumshoe showed resolve of not going into Gant's office because it would actually cost him his job, now he's got new resolve, and my controller has new resolve too. Excuse me 1 second. Note to self, just because it says wired controller doesn't mean it's actually a wired controller. It had a micro USB that kept disconnecting from the front end of the controller. God damn it. Anyway, we're going to now go into Gant's office, and unfortunately, we're risking Gumshoe's job, literally, into doing so. So for now, we have Gumshoe's ID. And now we can move into the chief's office and do our investigations. Finally! I mean, we've already been thrown out in the last part. Who's to say we won't be thrown out this part? But one thing's for sure. With Gumshoe's ID, we're now in, and this place is still freaking creepy. Oh, and now that I start to think about it, he also changed the vase as well. No, wait, no, that's his vase. Hey, wait a minute. Look at the corner. Just look at the knight suit of armor in the corner. Oh, and by the way, sorry about that. You know how Upload Studio is. It only records up to 10 minutes of footage. I really wish the Xbox One S would actually have a DVR that records up to, oh, I don't know, an hour. If not 2. Because this 10-minute recording is ridiculous. And we accidentally crushed Gumshoe's ID. Which, by the way, that's his 5th one reissued. So, with that said, we've got some things to examine while we're here. And, unfortunately for us, you know what this means. We're gonna have to... Well, first we're gonna have to talk to Gumshoe. about the Chief's office and Chief Gant in order for us to continue on. But I'm going to warn you right now, you're going to have to pay attention to everything that's in here. And as for the night suit, you don't have to examine it, but you will know that the night suit do not have a halberd, unlike in the picture that you saw earlier on. Because Gant wanted all halberds removed from certain objects. And as for Gumshoe, the chief basically just made it a issue to remove all halberds and pretty much cleaned up almost Lana's mess, Lana's desk, as if she didn't came here in the first place. So in other words, he's trying to actually wonder why is it that we're here anyway, because he's thinking that we're suspecting Gant, and of course we are. And that is something that is a possibility, because after all, for one, the ID chart list has the very first number with 6 sevens, I do believe. And then there's the picture that he gave us. I mean, he practically handed us the keys to suspect him. And then there's this safe. Now, normally, if you're trying to guess the number, well, guess what? The ID is the number. And you don't have to do anything meticulous. All you have to do is just press 7 times, and you'll be just fine. That's all you need to do, because that is, however, Damon Gant's ID number. Alright, so let's do this. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. Easy enough. And also, this is another thing. Capcom, what the fuck is subtlety? Even worse, it was the ID card on that record. But also, even worse, there is stuff in the safe. And both the judge and Gumshoe can't even get it right. But yes, Damon Gant will be the only person that has an executive's ID. So let's go and take a look. And it is the last piece of the vase. And a cloth with a handprint. We will have to actually do some more handprint testing this time around. That's the only thing that was there. And now that I stop and think about it, there are 2 pieces of evidence which proves one thing. Damon Gant was literally hiding evidence. So now we're going to have to prove relevancy because of the evidence law. And Gumshoe is a detective for the time being, so we'll have to prove its relevancy. First off, with the vase. If you look at it, the jar is missing a piece. That jar, by the way, that jar piece was in the evidence. Well, actually was in the safe, sorry. And the jar itself was in the evidence locker. However, that fragment came from that jar. So all we need to do is put it together. And this jar will definitely come into play. So let's assume the jar, and assemble the jar, and let's go on ahead and finally finish it once and for all. Oh. Be aware that you're going to end up having to assemble a jar in the next game, although it's not as egregious as this one. So, here goes. So all you have to do is just rotate the jar piece to the right, I do believe. There we go, and then slide it in. And there's blood spots there. Oh, crap. So, yeah, this jar was actually the jar in his office in the picture. So Damon Gant willingly concealed a piece of evidence in the safe. And there's blood on the side of it. There's no difference here, but something is written on it. Something, by the way, that looks like it's been wiped off. And there's blood. We need to get to the bottom of that, and unfortunately, before we do get to the bottom of that, we've got one other thing to prove. And that is... let's see, Wait. We're gonna need the fingerprint testing set, and that is to prove the cloth's relevancy. And the cloth's relevancy is gonna come in handy later on because of the fact that that is an important piece of evidence. And why is Gumshoe making a joke in a serious situation? Like I said, you could actually explore his office and take a look at the statue to see the no halberd rule comes into play. But that's something many people will miss. So on that note, you can just take a finger and check for prints. So, with that said, we're going to be sprinkling powder into the prints. So on that note, we just pick the middle finger. And we're just going to keep sprinkling and sprinkling and sprinkling until we reveal the prints, just like last time. Only this time we have to find out who these belong to. So that's going to be the real issue, and oh god, I didn't get enough. Hold on. It's making things a lot more difficult, but a lot longer because, well, testing for prints can suck sometime. Especially when you don't get the whole thing. But we got them this time. We got them. So on that note, what we're going to do is not get Damon Gant. We're supposed to get Emma Skye, actually. Oops. That was an accident. We are going to have to get this right. So, on that note, why are you talking about faith? Anyway, let's go on ahead and examine this. Oh yeah, and I had to stop for a second because Upload Studio was going to end that part anyway. So, let's compare, and it is completely compatible. Uh-oh. Yikes. Oh, now it's all making sense. That cloth has Emma's prints. And the only reason why I said to choose Emma's prints because of the fact that when we passed by and got the gas prints, Emma's prints were the ones that were matching. In other words, now we know why Lana is doing what she's doing. Now we know why Lana is a fall guy. That cloth has something to do with Lana's behavior. We're not done just yet. We need to examine the desk too. And when we do, remember the fact that Chief Gant actually put a piece of paper on his desk. Before we were, unceremoniously kicked out. And to our horror, it's the other half of the evidence list. Wow. Gant had the other half of the SL9 incident evidence list in his office. So, if you haven't put 2 to 2 together, he's been trying to cover his tracks. And on top of that, Emma is practically somehow involved in this, and he's using Emma to make Lana do his dirty work. So in other words, Emma is now the target for, this trial. And now Chief Gant has appeared, and he is, jovial but blindingly pissed. Exceedingly pissed. Oh boy. And, on that note, he was literally walking away when he saw Gumshoe. Uh-oh. So, we're going to be leaving now. Unceremoniously. Oh, and Gumshoe is officially fired. Oh yeah, and by the way, that sudden pause sometimes means either the game is crashing or he's about to actually say something, very meticulous. But yeah, he just basically sent everybody on their way, and he has Emma in the office. Which means one thing. He's got Emma, and he's probably going to use her as a bargaining chip in the trial. So everything's going to come to a head. Everything is coming to this. At least we got the evidence we need. So, while Edgeworth tries to get his job back, we're gonna have to go straight to, Lana. And we're gonna have to tell her that Emma is in the, area with Chief Gant. So we will try to see what's going on. And if things truly are the way it is, the only reason why Lana is so cold and so cruel is because of the fact that Emma is being used against her. And even Lana can see that Phoenix is not giving up. And I'm not either. We have come so far. And the best part is we only got 3 more parts of this trial. 6 more actual video parts of this trial, if not 7 counting the credits. And more importantly, we have the whole entire day 4. That's gonna be a battle in and of itself. And we're gonna need all the help we can get. And seeing as how we just got finished coming from Gant's office, time for Lana to finally come clean. And if she wants to come clean, she's gonna have to reveal everything. But she's protecting someone. And in order for us to actually make her come clean, we're gonna have to reveal that person. And that person is Damon Gant. And that's the person you want to expose. And it seems that she does not actually quite get the situation. No, she does, but she doesn't want to actually reveal too much. Because in a way, she owes him for her career. And in a way, Edgeworth and Lana would probably have their persecutors licenses on the line because of this. So in other words, Lana and David Gant is basically in this, but unfortunately, he's not going to reveal anything. So we're gonna have to reveal the evidence chart. And it didn't matter if you revealed the jar or the cloth or the evidence chart. All three would be revealed eventually. So now, hopefully Lana will tell us everything. And she's not trying to tell you. And the only reason why is because of Emma. And it turns out Lana didn't kill Bruce Goodman. And the person who did it was actually Damon Gant. Because as you can see right here, Damon Gant literally gives her the phone call to dispose of Goodman's body. And Goodman's body is in the trunk of Edgeworth's car. Why was he in the trunk of Edgeworth's car? Because, well, Damon Gant needed a fall guy. And what Angel saw was not her stabbing him, because Goodman was already dead. The murder weapon was actually the SL9 knife. That SL9 switchblade which had fresh blood on it. The same switchblade that was supposed to be found in the back of Neil Marshall. And even worse, Edgeworth's knife, which was actually used to pry open his trunk, was used to cut open her hand, and her blood got on his shoe. Now see, if we had the luminol spray for that, we probably would have discovered whose blood that was. And that's the thing. Gant did that on purpose, because he knew she was trying to betray him. And he also knew that Angel Star was still trying to snoop around the Persecutor's office, so that she could expose SL9, but instead inadvertently caught Lana carrying out his orders. And she was trying to get the knife over to Emma, so that Emma would return the knife to him, to Gant. But unfortunately, that never happened because Angel made an arrest. Well, a citizen's arrest, actually. Because she was actually a citizen due to the fact that she no longer worked in the police. So on that note, she went there and made a phone call to Jake Marshall to go and check the SL9 incident evidence. And I've already mentioned this. So it's all coming together. But it turned out Gant already beat him to the punch the moment that Goodman opened up his locker. Actually, no. It's not that Goodman opened up his locker. Damon Gant used Goodman's fingerprint to open up his locker. That's why the glove was wedged in between his locker. And yeah, he had already stolen the ID. It's not that he hadn't made up his mind. He basically wasn't sure that it was a good idea, but then afterwards he went in. Lana will not look you in the eye, and Lana will not tell you the truth. Unfortunately, she's begging you not to pursue this trial any further. And now that we've gotten to the bottom of this, and now that we know who the real murderer is, it's time. It's time for us to go through possibly the longest trial in the game. And we are going to go through this for the next 6 to 7 parts. Next time on Phoenix Wright, starting with Day 1 trial. Well, Day 4 trial. And trust me, it's gonna be a doozy. This is RFman985. Lana will have no choice but to explain what's going on next time on Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Peace out.